Okay, so welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
We're diving into some pretty cool stuff today.
Yeah, definitely.
I think people are really going to get a lot out of this one.
For sure.
You know, a lot of our listeners are thinking about English fluency and maybe wondering,
Yeah.
if it has to be like a constant uphill battle.
Right.
And what if I told you?
Yeah.
What if I told you we got some seriously interesting material
Oh, yeah.
on achieving real progress with a really manageable daily routine?
Yeah.
And get this,
Okay.
just 10 minutes a day.
That's it, 10 minutes a day. That's right.
Thanks, right.
Yeah, and as I was going through all this information,
Yeah.
what really stood out to me
Okay.
was this like strong emphasis on consistency.
Interesting.
For you, the learner,
Yeah.
rather than like these super intense bursts of study.
Right.
It's not about those like marathon sessions where you just feel totally drained afterwards.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, the research actually suggests that like your brain is way better at locking in language
Makes sense.
when it encounters it, in these regular smaller doses.
Nice.
Yeah, think about it. Like
Okay.
learning a new skill, anything, right? Like a little bit each day tends to stick with you so much better.
Right.
In the long run.
For sure. And it's not just some abstract theory either.
Wow.
One of the sources shared this really inspiring story
Oh, wow.
about a student who, for ages, just felt like they were spinning their wheels.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, with English.
Mm-hmm.
And they started this consistent 10-minute practice.
Okay.
And within 6 months, can you believe it?
Wow.
They went from feeling totally stuck to actually holding down full conversations.
That's huge.
That's the kind of real world progress where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe this is something I could actually do.
Makes it feel so much more attainable, right?
Exactly. And I love that it's like real people,
Absolutely.
not just some, like you said, theory.
Exactly, that anecdotal evidence. It's so powerful because it really highlights like the practical impact of this approach.
For sure.
It pushes back against this whole like feeling that you need to like carve out these huge blocks of time to see any results.
Exactly.
So let's get right into it.
Okay.
What does this 10-minute routine actually look like?
All right. So picture this.
Okay.
Your 10 minutes starts right now.
All right.
For these first couple minutes.
Okay.
It's all about warming up those language muscles.
All right. Gotta get warmed up.
With something called shadowing.
Shadowing.
Have you ever experimented with this technique?
I have, yeah. It's a fantastic one for people to incorporate.
Okay, cool. So what is it?
So basically the idea is this.
Okay.
You listen to a short piece of English audio.
Right.
Could be anything that interests you.
Okay.
A podcast clip, YouTube video, whatever.
Right.
And you try to repeat exactly what you hear. Like at the same time.
Oh, wow.
As you're hearing it.
So like word for word matching the pace and everything.
Exactly. And the key here is you really want to focus on like mimicking the speaker's tone, that natural rhythm, all those subtle little nuances that sometimes we kind of overlook.
Interesting.
Yeah, shadowing is so powerful.
Yeah.
Because it like actually activates these things called mirror neurons in your brain.
Okay.
Which helps you internalize the rhythm, the intonation patterns of native speakers way more effectively than just passively listening.
So you're like actually kind of training your brain.
Totally, yeah.
To speak like a native speaker.
Yeah, you're getting a feel for how the language actually works in a real conversational setting.
So it's not just about grasping the words themselves.
Right.
Like really getting your mouth, your ears attuned to the way it flows. Yeah.
Like an actor rehearsing a role.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right.
But you're focusing on the delivery. Totally.
As much as the lines themselves.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so we're like 2 minutes into this routine.
Okay.
Then you move into minutes 3 and 4.
Right.
And this is all about actively building your vocabulary.
Love it. Got to expand that vocabulary.
Right. And what I thought was really interesting was the suggested amount.
Okay.
Just 3 to 5 new words or phrases each day.
That's it.
Which might not seem like a lot.
It seems manageable, right?
Yeah, totally. But think about it.
Yeah.
That consistency over time really adds up.
For sure it does, yeah.
Right. And it's not going to feel overwhelming.
Exactly. You don't want to burn yourself out.
Right. And the crucial part is what you do with those words.
Okay, so what do we do?
So the recommendation is you actually write them down
Okay.
in a sentence.
Got it.
Seeing them in context is key.
Makes sense.
And then you say them out loud.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
So this engages all the different parts of your brain.
Which seriously boosts retention.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, it shows you exactly how these words are used in a real-world scenario.
In real life, yeah.
Right. Simply memorizing a list isn't nearly as effective.
It's so passive, right?
Yeah, you got to see them in action.
Totally, yeah.
Hear yourself say them.
Yeah, and then they become more tangible, readily available for you to use.
Exactly. You're like, okay, I can use this.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're at the halfway point of our 10 minutes.
All right, we're cruising.
Minutes 5 and 6.
Okay.
And now we narrow down our focus to tackling those little grammar points that might consistently trip you up.
Oh, yeah, we all have those.
Right, and I love this.
Yeah.
Because instead of trying to conquer every single grammar rule out there, the idea is to identify one common mistake that you personally tend to make.
Right. Yeah, so you're being really targeted.
Yes, exactly.
With your approach, you know, you're identifying your weaknesses and working on those specifically.
The source actually gives a helpful example with prepositions.
Prepositions, those tricky little things.
Right, like knowing when to say good at versus interested in.
Yeah. Those are easy to mix up.
Right. And I think for a lot of people, they might not seem that important.
Right.
But they can really
they're super important.
Trip you up.
Yeah, they're crucial for sentence structure.
Right. And it's like laser focus on what you specifically need to work on. You're not wasting time on grammar rules you've already mastered.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're 7 minutes into our routine now.
7 minutes down.
What comes next?
All right, what's next?
This one might sound a little nerve-wracking.
Uh-oh.
A speaking challenge.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Here we go.
So this might feel a bit intimidating at first.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's so valuable.
Okay.
So the exercise is really simple.
All right, lay it on me.
You pick any topic.
Okay.
Absolutely anything that comes to mind.
Anything at all.
And you just speak about it.
Okay.
In English for 1 full minute. Without stopping.
1 minute straight, huh?
Yeah. And what the source emphasizes here is recording yourself doing this and then listening back to it.
That's the scary part.
I know that's the part where you got to be brave because it can feel a bit exposed.
It can be a little cringy.
Yeah, hearing your own voice. Yeah. Speaking another language.
But you know, it's like, it's also incredibly insightful for tracking your progress.
How so?
You start to notice things
you
might not be aware of otherwise. Maybe you consistently stumble over certain sounds.
Right.
Maybe your sentences aren't flowing as smoothly as you thought they were in your head.
Yeah.
And it gives you those tangible areas to focus on.
For next time.
For next time, exactly. And plus, it's such a great way to track your improvement over time.
Totally.
You'll be surprised how quickly you notice those positive changes.
And you'll have like a record of it.
Exactly.
So you can actually see how far you've come.
Hear how far you've come.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so that brings us to the final couple minutes.
Okay, the home stretch.
Of our routine minutes 9 and 10.
Yeah.
And this is all about
what is it?
Actively bringing English into your everyday life.
All right, love it.
And this is where the learning really starts
to
become integrated and more natural.
Right. You're taking it outside of that 10 minutes.
Exactly.
And applying it.
Yeah. So the source suggests practical things like leaving comments on YouTube videos in English.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or, you know, actively seeking out opportunities to chat with language partners.
Yeah, if you have them.
Right.
If not, you can always find some.
That's true. There's tons of resources online.
Absolutely.
Or even just consciously trying to think in English.
Oh, that's a good one.
As you go about your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about making it a part of your environment.
Not just this thing you study in isolation.
Right.
For 10 minutes.
So there you have it.
There it is.
A really structured 10-minute routine.
Yeah.
Hitting all the crucial language skills.
You got it all in there.
Speaking, vocabulary, grammar, all tied together with real-world application.
That's the key, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I can already hear some of you thinking.
Oh, I know what they're thinking.
Seriously, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Can that actually make a difference?
Yeah, that's a valid question.
For me?
And the sources address this directly.
Okay.
The answer is a resounding yes.
Okay.
But with an important condition.
Okay.
Consistency and active engagement during those 10 minutes.
Right. So you got to be present.
Totally.
You can't just be like...
Yeah, you can't just be like...
half asleep doing it.
Yeah, going through the motion.
Yeah, you got to be focused.
You got to be present for those 10 minutes.
In the moment, yeah.
And, you know, the sources also acknowledge those common obstacles and excuses.
Oh, yeah, we all have them.
Right?
It's the excuses.
Like the ever-present, I don't have enough time.
Oh, yeah, the classic.
I know.
I'm too busy.
Right.
But, you know, the counterpoint is...
yeah.
almost everyone can find 10 minutes.
Right.
Somewhere in their day.
Yeah.
Think about it. It could be during your commute, while you're eating lunch, or dinner, before bed. It's about identifying those little pockets of time that might otherwise go unused.
Totally.
And intentionally making them count.
Yeah. Love that.
Towards your language goals.
Okay. And what about that feeling of being shy?
Yeah.
Or simply not knowing what to talk about?
Oh, that's a big one.
When it comes to speak.
I know a lot of learners struggle with that.
Absolutely. The advice here is really great.
Okay.
And it's all about helping you overcome those feelings.
Okay.
So if shyness is a barrier, this suggestion is to really lean into those self-practice methods, like shadowing, to get comfy with the sounds, recording yourself, to build familiarity with your own spoken English.
In private.
In a private, low-pressure environment.
Exactly.
You're building confidence in a safe space.
I love that.
And then if you find yourself drawing a blank, you know, when it's time for that 1-minute speaking challenge, the recommendation is to use structured speaking prompts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's tons of resources online.
Okay.
Simple questions or topics to get you started and take the pressure off.
So you don't have to come up with something
exactly
totally on your own.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
It can be so overwhelming to feel like you have to generate all these ideas.
Especially in another language.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift our focus a bit and explore the psychology behind why this kind of consistent short practice can be so effective.
Interesting.
One of the sources touches on a really significant factor.
Okay, what is it?
Fear of making mistakes.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
I know, and this is huge.
Huge for so many learners.
For so many people, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's often this underlying feeling that you need to be perfect right from the start.
Like you got to get it right.
Yeah. And any mistake is somehow a failure.
Oh, that's so not true.
Right.
But the insight here is actually quite liberating.
Okay.
Even native English speakers make mistakes.
All the time.
All the time.
Right.
The crucial difference is they don't let those mistakes paralyze them or prevent them from communicating.
Exactly. It's like we place this pressure on ourselves.
Way too much pressure.
When learning a new language.
Yeah.
To be perfect.
Yeah, like it's got to be perfect.
And it's just not realistic.
And it's not how language actually works.
Right.
So the source gives this nice analogy here.
Okay, I love analogies.
Yeah. So they compare language acquisition to the way young children learn their first language.
Makes sense.
They don't sit down with grammar textbooks and memorize rules.
No, they just absorb it.
They absorb it naturally.
Right.
By listening to those around them.
Yeah.
By imitating the sounds, the patterns they hear.
Right, and making tons of mistakes along the way.
Oh, yeah, they make a lot of mistakes.
But it's through that process that they learn.
Exactly.
So the suggestion is for us adult learners to like adopt a similar approach.
Be more like children.
Yeah, be less critical.
Embrace those mistakes.
Right.
See them as part of the process.
Yeah.
It's all part of the journey.
So it's like a perspective shift.
You really is.
From I need to be perfect to it's okay to make mistakes.
Right.
So to bring it all together, we've really delved into this incredibly practical and manageable 10-minute routine.
It's so doable.
It is.
10 minutes.
Yeah, and it addresses, like you said, all those fundamental aspects of language learning.
You got it all.
And it's a reminder.
It is a good reminder.
That consistent small actions, when focused and applied regularly,
that's the key,
can actually lead to huge progress.
That's what we want.
Over time. And I think that's a really encouraging takeaway.
It is for sure.
For anyone.
Yeah, for anybody on a learning journey.
Yeah, and it makes you think.
It does.
How can you apply this same principle to other areas of your life?
Exactly.
Not just language learning.
Yeah, because it's really about building those good habits.
Right.
Those consistent habits.
And it shows that like small actions can lead.
They can be big results.
Yeah, as long as you're consistent.
That's so valuable for people to think about.
It is for sure.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
Yeah, it was fun.
I really enjoyed this one.
Me too.
I hope you guys got a lot out of it.
Yeah, I hope so.